People are afraid you'll hypnotize them and rob them, or ask them stuff they don't want to reveal. Like,
yeah, people are afraid of that. People are afraid of that. People are afraid of giving a stranger their credit card number. So I totally understand, right? I actually have it online, so I never actually see that credit card number, just to let you know. But yeah, people are afraid that I'm going to implant suggestions somehow that aren't to their highest good. And the truth is that you are going to remember everything that is said and done in that session. I don't want people to go so deep that they can't drive home afterward, right? It's part of the process is that I want them to know what is said. I want them to remember it because I'm a professional. I'm an expert. I want them to remember all the fluffy, kind, loving words that I put into that process that encourage them to do the things they really want to do and encourage them to feel happy about the good stuff. But yeah, people are afraid of things like that. Some people are also afraid. Every once in a while, somebody's been to a church service and they say something like, the devil will enter your body if you're hypnotized, which is just not true. I don't know exactly where that came from, but people hypnotize themselves all day long. At least twice a day, everybody hypnotizes themselves just before they go to bed. And just as they're waking up, they're still in that relaxed alpha state. But yeah, people are afraid of some unusual things, usually because TV has made them think something weird is going to happen.
Well, you say people hypnotize themselves. Is that the definition of getting into this alpha state? Or is there something different about just relaxing yourself and letting yourself think or do whatever it is versus quote unquote hypnotizing yourself? Is there anything different about the two activity?
I think people use those terms interchangeably. People tend to think about hypnosis as something that somebody else is doing to them rather than thinking of it as self-hypnosis, as they're just getting into a meditative state. A lot of people, including myself, tend to see meditation, deep meditation, and hypnosis as being really similar, or in fact, exactly the same thing. But with hypnotherapy, I'm guiding them to a particular issue. Sometimes it's maybe something that happened earlier on in their life that could be blocking them, a fear or phobia that's getting re-triggered every time they try and do a particular thing. Other times it's just going back and to a time when you felt really relaxed or you felt really prosperous, so you can feel that feeling again, making it a bigger part of your life. But yeah, people have some unusual perceptions of it. It really is the same thing though. It's just getting into a very light state of trance. It has to do with the way the brain waves work.
Is there anything unexpected that comes out when you hypnotize people? Do they say non sequiturs, or do they experience strong emotions like laughing, crying, anger? Does it bring any of those things out?
I mean, it can, obviously. I would say those kinds of expressions happen more in the longer past life regression things, which I'm not really doing right now. A lot of times, if we're going into a past life regression situation, that's a very different session because those are usually quite a bit longer. The person goes into a time when maybe something very traumatic happened and they're remembering it. And particularly if a child has died in that lifetime, they're going to tap into that emotion of death and it can be very real and they can start crying. I actually have had clients during past life regressions, start speaking another language. And I believe Japanese client who told me she doesn't speak any German. And so I was like, wow, that was quite interesting. Yeah, that does happen.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't know if we talk about the past life stuff for a little bit. What happens there? Like, what do people get out of it? Any examples of stuff you could say that's happened that's interesting?
Yeah, a lot of things. I had a client who came to me because she has this boyfriend that she keeps breaking up with and keeps getting back together, breaking up, get back together, getting up. You've heard this pattern before, right? But can't seem to figure out why she can't let him go. And so turned out she went back to a past life where they were like the Aztec Maya time period. And she said, I asked her what it is. She says, you would describe it as the Aztecs, but that's not how they call themselves. So I thought that was sort of interesting. But she was telling it was some special ceremony that bound them for eternity. And in her mind, it kept coming back to that. Now, whether that was true or whether that really happened, we can't see that or not, and we can't know that. But she was able to imagine herself breaking the vow and saying, hey, thanks, but no thanks. We're not going to do this again. And I did get an email from her later saying she was able to break up with him and started to move on and was looking forward to having a relationship with somebody who's a little bit better of a guy.